Hey, it's been a while, hasn't it? I know a lot of my recent videos have just been random clears I've done, but a big reason for that is just because I don't really have much to say. This channel has always been something of a personal record of mine, just a way to keep track of what I've done in the game, and 334 people sticking around to see that is very nice to see. Thank you all for subscribing. That said, Minosknights is pretty hard to make extra content on since the niche itself is pretty slow. The last time Minos got anything that's super important was all the way back in Dorothy's Vision. Palace got Module Y and it's been a serious game changer. During the past event, What the Firelight Casts, Arado got her module, and you can't really complain about free stats, but it's a little too early to tell if Arado's mod will actually help with anything. The first thing I did was go back to 1120. Yeah, no, the stage still sucks. Arado, even though she takes out more of the small tanks, the boss is still unmanageable. But after this, after Arado mod, what does Minos get? The answer is nothing. I mean, the answer is actually a palace skin, but after that it's nothing. No Vulcan mod, no Sidroka mod, no Vulcan skin, no 6th up. I'm recording this before CN's Summer Carnival 2023 stream, so hopefully that changes, but I don't have high hopes for this event. Maybe there'll be a timeline that gives us a Minos event after, but that's just copium. Quick update, yeah, there's nothing. So, you're probably wondering why I'm making this video. There isn't really any grand overarching scheme here. I'm not trying to convert anyone to Minosknights. It's just that even though I don't play them, I've been thinking about a lot of other niches recently and how they compare. More specifically, I'm looking at factions in the game. You can make a niche out of basically anything, but I've always had a soft spot for factions. For whatever reason. Higashi and Rim Billiton have been the ones I've been looking at for the longest because unlike Minos, they actually have a decent amount of operators. Sami's also on the table just because on a macro level it's very similar to Minos, so I'll probably get the hang of it quick. Minos is still going to be my bread and butter and I don't really have plans to do anything else on this YouTube channel, but you know, there's a question that I've been wondering. Why Minos? So let's just get the most obvious thing out of the way. Minos only has 5 ops. And this is undoubtedly a downside, but there's some positives to it that kind of just get interlaced with the fact itself. When I talk to people about playing Minosknights, a very common response is that people just don't have Palace, which is kind of sad but fair. Palace was really undersold and she's not that popular in terms of gameplay. That works two ways though, because it shows that Palace is really the only character you need to gacha for. Everyone else is free in one way or another. Moving on to gameplay, there's a very big difference from playing a small niche to playing a big niche. Big niches like Bird Knights for example have the ability to take on basically everything in the game. EX stages, CM, SSS, IS, high CC, Annihilation, you name it. Minos is definitely not that. I think playing bigger niches is harder because you need to learn every single character and how to use them, but smaller niches thrive when the opposite happens, when you can do something that looks like you really shouldn't be able to with only a limited amount of ops. For example, Trials of Navigator 2 Stage 4 Ultimate No Beacon. Yes, this took so long for me to do because I kept procrastinating that I started in What the Firelight Casts, and now we're in Trials of Navigator 2. I'll see you guys in Monster Hunter. I'll admit there's a cheesy amount of stall in my clear, but it's still a 5-op clear with the Minos characters, and no conviction crit at that. So that's what doing clears is like, but what about actual gameplay? How do these characters work? Well, Minos is blessed. That isn't a joke, by the way. The closest thing Minos has to a filler skill is Sidroka's Regeneration Gamma, which is surprisingly unique to her. Cardigan has Regeneration Alpha, Matomaru has Regeneration Beta, Sidroka's the only one with Gamma, which I guess makes this whole line pretty unique, but Every skill in Minosknights has a clear use. Palace is actually quite famous for this, with all three of her skills being useful in different situations, but you could see this with Arado and Conviction too. Vulcan inside Roka's S1s are a little hard to justify a lot of the time, but while there are definitely times where you're gonna want Side Roka's extra range, faster cycles, or instant healing, I don't know why you'd ever want to take more stats on Hoshi when you can take even more stats on Hoshi. I can tell you that Guardian mode is for catching enemies that require high block or hit too hard for anyone else to live, but I can't tell you why you'd want Mudrock's minus 600 physical damage taken when you could just take spin to win. Even Conviction Skill 2, which I absolutely hate using and have to choose to not touch, is very good in a lot of cases, because it does a lot of things that the other operators can't do, such as true AoE, arts damage, fast skill cycling, you get the idea. Keep in mind that this is with the major downside of stunning everyone in a diamond around Conviction on a coin flip. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely dread the times where I need to use the skill, but I'd rather take this over Swift Strike. Anyways, that's all well and good, but characters aren't just a bunch of stats and skills, they have their own stories too. So, what do I think of the ops? What do I think of their lore? The joke here is that there actually isn't that much Minos lore. Like, there's about as much Minos lore as I have experience in making transitions, so, way back in the day, there was a country called Agamemnon that, it's gone. Way back in the day, there was a country called Minos. The people of Minos had a very strong culture. They had temples for the heroes, they held competitions on the regular, they drank a lot, they wrote and performed a lot of plays and movies and stuff. It was all fine until Sargon came in and swept them. On top of just conquest, they tried to stomp out culture by burning temples, banning competitions, you name it. If there's one thing Minoans are good at though, it's not going down. They fought back and they fought hard until a turning point came in the Temple of Reclamation battle, where 12 leaders reclaimed and rebuilt Minos' core cities. Sargon gets beat back to Sargon, but they're still picking fights because of Sargon, up until the point where the priestess of the Hala Heroes of Athenia, which is like the middle of Minos, heads out to the bordering village of Akrodi and rallies the people and beats back the Sargonians for good. Sometime after that, there's a competition going on. It's called the Interlocking Security Competition, and you know where this is going. Palace drags Rhodes Island into it, and Rhodes wins a lot. That's it. That's the entirety of Minos lore as I know it. Obviously, I left out a lot of details about operator records and whatnot, but they don't really contribute much to the greater Minos lore, except for Palace. In fact, most of what I just said came from Palace's bio. But past that, there really isn't like any other details that you can pull about Minos. That said, why did I put that whole blurb in a video called Why I Play Minos? I don't know. I just thought it was cool. I like Minos lore. Maybe it's just because after a few years of long and complicated stories like Mirror Light, Undertides, everything with Kelsey, it's kind of nice to just have something you can relax to, I guess, or that is kind of quick and short and is still in progress, you know? I guess that kind of just answers the question that we started on, huh? I just want to play Minos because I do, right? I just started with Minos, you know? Like, I just had the characters, that's it. I was like, hey, these guys are cool. If anything, a big part of doing a niche is about how you interact with other people with the niche. Like, yeah, there's tracing records and whatnot, but there's also just having a nice chat about characters you like and how to use them. Yeah, you might disagree, but it's always net positive, you know? There's always discussion, and discussion is good. Before I started Minos, I was very much coasting along on my own pace, right? I would just sit around waiting for Bloomskin, and lo and behold, Bloomskin still is not here. But yeah, it's kind of boring. I probably would have quit if I didn't find something to do. The fact that I did Minos really wasn't important. It was just something, you know? And that's kind of the crux of it. Sometimes you just need something to do. So then I started YouTube, Twitch, and I met some nice people, right? Something about just meeting people in group is very nice. Like, I talk about a lot, but Reshi, Bill, Hani, Shadman, OnlyMoos when they were around. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the real reason I played Minos isn't because Minos itself is interesting, it's just because I chose it. And that's it. That's the entire thesis of the video, I guess. I chose it, and that's good enough. You know, in retrospect, I probably should have just said that. Like, do what Reshi did, make a really short video, except I have like one sentence saying, because it's fun. Well, no, that's not true. It's horrible. It's awful. But because I thought it'd be cool. That's it. You didn't think this video would actually be over without me mentioning it, did you? Wait, I don't know how to read Chinese. Let's see here. There we go. Starting with What the Firelight cast, Minos waited roughly 11 months for any gameplay changes. And was it worth it in the end? No. This doesn't help Vulcan, like, at all. It's bad. Most people you talk to will say it's bad. Despite that, I love this thing. It is basically just a quality of life change for me specifically. You see that? You see that right there? That's exactly why you want Vulcan mod. For those of you who don't use Vulcan, the reason why this mod sucks is that Vulcan's already really good on skill. This just helps Vulcan in like the first second or so. Which is why I like it, because I don't have to think very much. I know this is a skill issue, but it's my skill issue, alright? But both the Vulcan skills have a 50-second DP cost. That is a huge amount, and in that whole time, Vulcan can't be healed and is just hoping to not die. This is basically just overkill. It's repetitive as hell. Vulcan needed help in many other areas. This was not one of them, and that's why it's bad. Vulcan's actually kind of split in that case. If you can somehow protect Vulcan long enough where she can get skill up again, then she's fine. She can live forever. But if you can't, then her lifespan is really short. Like, the only thing shorter than her lifespan is her dress, which I didn't realize how short it is. Like, what is that? It's kind of cute, especially when you see it without her coat and everything. This video ended like 2 minutes ago. I don't know how to finish this segment. I should probably have some, like, end thoughts, huh? I started with Minos because I just happen to have the ops built. I'm still playing it because it's still interesting. The characters' kits are unique and kind of work together in weird ways, and the challenge of playing with only 5 ops is very nice, even if you can't clear as many things as other niches. Don't build Vulcan mod. Also, like and subscribe, I guess. I need to say that probably. Oh, check out the other Minos people. Yeah, do that.